My biggest fear is going back to a place where I was 3 years ago when I was depressed. It's the scariest place I've ever been. It scares me so much that I do everything I can to make sure I'm healthy. It scares me enough that I don't ever want to do the things that led me there. But at the same time, it was so much of a positive learning experience. And it's really hard to put depression and positivity in the same sentence. But without that, I wouldn't be the person I am today. So it scares the absolute shit out of me. But at the same time, I acknowledge it and I'm thankful that I came out of it and that it was there to show me how good I can be now.
There are definitely days when my body, the physical part of it, no matter like how tough it is, how many tackles I make, or like whatever, you know, as a rugby player, it's physical and manly. There are definitely days when that doesn't mean a thing, because inside I'm broken, eh? Nothing really recent, but there have been times when I go out and play footy and smash it, you know, but I get home and just empty, or something's going on and I'm just, you know, I'm battling away behind the scenes. But that's what it is nowadays half of the time, isn't it? It's just putting up a front. We're masters of the mask.
I think after high school, 3 years or something, there was like a phase where I just developed like, say, anxiety. I guess it's such a blanket term that people use, anxiety, but I was just feeling like literally fear, emotionally, but also physically, like as in the form of tension and fatigue, like I was hiding from some threat or something. I was just in a state of fear without cause, sometimes just waking up and just feeling tight and afraid, like, and no hope, but at the same time being like, what the fuck, there's nothing, my life's good, like there's literally nothing to be afraid of or worried about.
Yeah, look, I think that for me, I was on an anxiety-based depressant, so I was having anxiety attacks often and ignoring them. And while they're two different illnesses, they're quite related, so people can have anxiety all their lives and not fall into a depression, but there's a higher likelihood that you will. And so I was an anxiety-based person who fell into a depression. I just didn't tell anyone. I kept it all to myself.
Yeah, I remember when I was going through my anxiety and my dark patch, that I used to come to training and there would be boys with, I guess, visible injuries. They would have a broken arm or a broken leg, and they'd always be asked, are you okay, bro, or when are you going to be back, blah, blah, blah. And I used to sometimes just stand there and think, I wish they knew how I felt inside, and I wish they could ask, like, are you okay, bro, or like, how are you? But I was too embarrassed to tell them what I was going through.
My life had gotten so bad that I didn't know how to deal with me. And I definitely was calling to try and find some sort of connection with everyone I could. But it hadn't have been for my mum or my mate Darren or my mate Damon, I probably wouldn't be here. And it wasn't out of being selfish, because I know a lot of people like it's the most selfish thing to do. Like it was so hard. It wasn't about anybody else. It was like I just didn't want to feel pain anymore.
The importance that I put on like mental health and my own mental well-being is, that has to be number one, because if that isn't in check, then I struggle, and I don't. Well, not that I struggle. Like I just don't know how to cope, and I can't. I don't know how to get myself out of it if things are going bad. And that's where I think so I've realised that, it's all good to struggle, and, that mental health, like you have your ups and downs, and, I'm no different. I have great days. I have days when they suck and things don't go to plan, and I think that something's wrong, and that's all good to think that, but it's how I get myself, how I process that, how I get myself out of it, and how I keep, I guess, moving forward and getting on with things.
You've got to know the signs, you've got to understand where you are emotionally so that you can take control of that. And, if you're starting to feel those stresses, and mine comes back when, when I'm... I have my doubts come back, so I know when I'm starting to get stressed because some of my doubts that I've already dealt with, so those famous mind traps will come back. So I know when they start coming back, I need to look after myself a bit.
I think a big stress for me is like my future, because in a way I've got an idea in my head of how I think my life would pan out or could pan out. So if it doesn't, or if sometimes you'd overthink it and then it begins stressing you out.
The biggest contributors to my stress would be being way too preoccupied and having more things piled on top, and then feeling like I can't get any of these things done, which leads to my guilt, which then leads to me feeling really shitty about it. So, and it's infuriating.
Yeah, I get frustrated as well when I'm feeling down, but I just don't know why I'm feeling down, or I'm trying to figure out like why I'm feeling like this. That's the most frustrating thing, and especially when people are trying to help me and my wife's trying to help me, but I just have it's frustrating.
Yeah, I mean, there's a few things I sort of try and manage, the anger and frustration. First, it's like just acknowledging it So, you know, like if I'm starting to sort of hype up or get a bit frustrated or angry, it's like, you know, what first of all, like what's happening? Like why are you starting to get a bit angry, and just having that awareness of what's causing it. Then if I can try and, like, you know, settle it then and there, I'll try and do that. If it's sort of something that's bubbling out, you know, I might talk to my wife about it and sort of just see what she thinks about it and try and break it down. So there's definitely a couple of things that I sort of use to help to try and, you know, manage those feelings.
I think I've got a lot of different ways to release emotions. Like you can go for a beer with mates, you can go to golf, or you can go take yourself away, you can go watch a movie by yourself in bed, and I think all of those things are releasing certain emotions, and I don't know, I don't think there's one right way or one wrong way sort of thing. I think there's so many there's so many different emotions we feel, but then there's so many different emotions that we can sort of, or so many different pathways we can sort of release those emotions or get in touch with them, or then sort of find ways how to deal with them, because obviously, the more stress and frustration and anxiety and stuff we put on ourselves, the more it builds up over time. And I think maybe like sometimes you do it without even realizing you're doing it as well. Like I've definitely felt myself, if you're feeling a bit anxious about things, about say team selection or anything like that, and if you can feel a bit of anxiety coming over, you can sort of take yourself away and watch a movie or something, and maybe you don't consciously be like, oh, I'm going to take myself away and sort of have some downtime, but you sort of end up doing it anyway. And I think it's important. Maybe you develop it over time. I'm not too sure.
I don't know if I realized what I needed to do, but I slowly shifted my weight so that I was like stepping into life, and I just started with small things, changing my ways of thinking and changing the way I was eating and drinking water and making sure I was sleeping as like the basic shit, you know, like just looking out for the basics.
Yeah, like as soon as I told someone, like, it helped me to get better, and they helped me to get better, and the more people I told, pretty much the better I got. I went and saw a specialist and everything like that, and he gave me medication which helped me, but definitely opening up has helped me a lot through it. Like, it's been a long process. Like, you know, I went through probably 6 months of it, but it took a good year to really get over it, to where I am now. Like, I still experience things at times, but yeah, like, if I could say anything to anyone that may be going through it out there, like, as soon as I told someone, and they talked to me about it and got me help, like, that was the start of me getting better.
What I've gained when I do share to different people is I get a lot of, I get most of the time the people are going through exactly the same thing as you or have experienced it, and it's like that in itself is beautiful, because like your whole life or your childhood, you think that you're only yourself is going through these kind of things, and it's kind of portrayed like that. And when you finally do, honestly, like, just through experience, when you do, like, you're so vulnerable, and then you hear someone just go, man, I'm going through the same thing, and then you hear someone going, like, it's okay, we'll go through it together. Like, just hearing like different perspectives and different like encouragements from those specific people is like, honestly, is like the best feeling in the world. And then just from that, like, you just bond stronger relationships. These guys in my life right now that I would never last year have thought I'd be close with, and just through opening up and like connecting with them and talking about our feelings and what we're going through, like our journeys, like we've just connected like so strongly, and it's, I always use beautiful because it is, and just hearing different perspectives and having a lot of people and the encouragements and saying that they're going through that same thing is kind of like, it's really nice as a man to hear that and know that you're not going through things or going through an experience alone. Yeah.